Here on a Friday. Brooklyn Nets guard Kyrie Irving has been fined $50,000 for violating the league's health and safety protocols. The violation occurred when he attended a private indoor party last weekend. Irving will forfeit salary for any games he misses due to his 5-day quarantine period, which will allow him to return to team activities tomorrow if he continues to test negative. He is expected to play against the Magic. So, guys, we should potentially see the big three there in Brooklyn for the first time tomorrow. What do you expect, Stephen A?
I don't know what to expect, to be honest with you. I mean, first of all, it's not what we see now this weekend. It's what we're going to see in the weeks to come. James Harden has been out of shape, so he's got to get himself in shape. And Kyrie Irving has been out for whatever reason, and now he's expected to come back. So James Harden's got to get his body together. Kyrie Irving has to get his mind together. Once that happens, then you see the big three on the court, and then you judge them as the big three. Right now, they're just individuals that are playing together. They're not necessarily a team. The only person that's been a consistent model of a teammate has been Kevin Durant at this particular moment in time. I believe in Harden personally. I know he's been taking a lot of hits and what have you, but he was just trying to get himself out of there, and we understand all of that. He doesn't engage in load management. He gives it to you. In the case of Kyrie Irving, those 5 games, Kyrie Irving in the 72-game season this year, guys, is getting paid $464,000 per game. So him being out or being penalized for these 5 games without pay is going to cost him in excess of $2.3 million. I hope it was worth it for him.
First, let me say, I hope Kyrie's personal life is in order. I hope he's okay. His loved ones are okay. If he's taking personal time and it's costing him millions of dollars, I hope he's okay.
I hope he's okay.
Genuinely. That's number one. Number two, guys, if these guys can get their egos on the same page, KD, James Harden, and Kyrie can all score at every level. At an elite level, at every level, long range. Harden doesn't shoot the mid-range, but certainly they can score mid-range and in the paint. And then you add Joe Harris, who's a better shooter than any of those guys. Like, that starting 5 is impossible. And I'm just looking forward to what I just want to see it. I hope Max, they can get on the same page because I want to see it.
Max, you know what I forgot about? You know what we both forgot to mention? Harden is going back to join Mike D'Antoni, who's Steve Nash's lead assistant. Totally forgot.
That's right.
Totally forgot. I didn't even think about that until last night. He's back with Mike D'Antoni.
Interesting.
Loved playing for Mike D'Antoni.
They're going to score some points, Stephen A.
They're going to score some points. Nobody's going to stop them from scoring. They're going to score some points.
No question.
They should be the number 1 offense in the NBA easily. Number 1, number 2 easily.
Yeah, starting unit's got to be number 1.
See? Talent's there. We'll see if the chemistry's there. Guys, we asked everybody at home, will Tom Brady pull off the upset? 58% of yous said yes. We shall see. I can't wait for Monday's show. I took notes on all your picks, so don't worry. I will be bringing them back up.
I ain't got confidence in any of my picks.
Stephen, you have a fabulous weekend. Max,
Yep, y'all have a good weekend. And hey, we have a good sports center. Jay Harris, Nabil Kareem with you here. Breaking news regarding Kyrie Irving. Malika Andrews is standing by with that.
Yeah, and Urban Meyer's introductory news conference with the Jaguars, that's just finishing up right now. What the coach had to say moments ago about joining the NFL for the first time. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
This is Sports Center.
James Harden is expected to speak here from the Nets' new star as soon as he gets to the mic. That and the one thing Brooklyn is the worst at in the league. Plus, why Josh Allen will have his toughest test against the Ravens' defense, and which Chiefs star is more important to the offense, Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill. And Stephen A. on how Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Aaron Rodgers still have something to prove.
Mike Miller always said I'm a cookie monster, and I'm going to steal that from him, so I'm a cookie monster.
This one's masked up, so it's protocoled.
It was 6 feet from the other one.
All right, breaking news into SportsCenter. Kyrie Irving is eligible to play when the Nets face the Magic on Saturday after being fined $50,000 for violating the NBA's health and safety protocols. He was apparently ordered to take part in a 5-day quarantine earlier this week. Sources telling Adrian Wojnarowski that he's allowed to return to the team activities on Saturday if he continues to test negative for COVID. Malika Andrews joining us now. And Malika, what more can you tell us about this situation with Kyrie Irving?
Well, Nabil, remember what the league was investigating here is whether or not he broke health and safety protocols by going to what appeared to be a family birthday party earlier this week. I know it feels like it was a lot longer ago than earlier this week, given all the news that has come out. So that's what the league was investigating. But remember, he is only actually losing. He has missed 5 games due to personal reasons, but he is only losing his salary for 2 of those games because the personal reasons are secondary. That is unrelated to the totality of that hiatus is unrelated to the league's investigation. They were just looking at the behavior that's in those videos that they deemed violated their rule that says that players cannot go to clubs, cannot go to lounges, cannot go to bars, and cannot be at gatherings of 15 or more people. So potentially we could be seeing the Nets' big 3 for the first time on Saturday of Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden against the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, and I think everyone in that organization wants to see that get past all this stuff. A busy day in Brooklyn. Malika will be back later in these shows. James Harden speaks at 1 Eastern today. Thank you, Malika.
No, I don't think he's under the most pressure. For me, it would be Kawhi Leonard. And the reason I feel that way, and I haven't jumped off that bandwagon, I've been consistent, and I know I'm standing alone. But Kawhi Leonard is the one that came to Los Angeles with the NBA title from Toronto and the NBA Finals MVP. That was fine. But the dude with the commercials and talking about L.A. is his town now with the king dangling from the crown dangling from his mirror and all of that stuff, basically putting LeBron on notice. It's a new day, and here I come. And then you have a 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets, and you disappear in a Game 7. You let him come back from a 3-1 deficit. He wasn't the only one. We know Paul George was too. I got that. But it's Kawhi Leonard that was that 2-time champion. It's Kawhi Leonard that was that star. It was Kawhi Leonard that basically told the Clippers, you want any shot at me, you got to go and mortgage the farm to get me Paul George. Otherwise, I'm going to stay in this town and play for the other team, which is the Los Angeles Lakers, with LeBron and AD, which will ensure you'll never win again. So all of those things that happen, that's Kawhi Leonard. Excuse me, it's time to pay up. You showed up. You put those demands. They answered the bell. Now you got to answer the bell. This dude, by Max Kellerman, was considered the best player in the world. Number 1. That's what Max was saying. Max was talking all of that, Kendrick. He said, Kawhi is that dude. He's the one. I know the whoops and the oops ultimately came thereafter, but damn it, that was after a year saying he was the best in the world. And listen, you can say what you want about Harden. He's been on the radar. KD's back. He's on the radar. Kyrie's on the radar. We get all of that. Why does Kawhi Leonard get to fly under the radar? He is a superstar. He is one of the top 5 players in the world. I want to see him show up. And I desperately want to see him go against LeBron head up, straight up in the conference finals. That's my dream scenario, personally.
All right. Before I get to Kendrick Perkins, who tweeted some outrageous, blasphemous nonsense last night, let me deal with you first, Stephen A. That take would be correct if the Clippers just traded for James Harden. The Clippers didn't just trade for James Harden. The Clippers got Kawhi Leonard, who never had to chase rings, won in San Antonio, got traded to Toronto, won in Toronto, didn't do so well last year. I give it up. I tell it like I see it. But the bottom line is he insisted on Paul George. He got him. Paul George choked in the playoffs, as usual. They didn't just add an MVP to that mix. Who added the MVP? The Brooklyn Nets. James Harden is going to a team with KD and Kyrie. And everyone's focusing on, is there more pressure on Harden or Kyrie? And that's a trick question, because the answer is there's the most pressure on KD. KD went ring chasing in Golden State, and he chased it down. He joined a 73-win team. There's no way they could lose. But then he did something very bold and brave. He went out and said, I'm going to see if I can win it in Brooklyn, a team that's never really come close. Just me and Kyrie Irving. Let's see what we can do. Now they added James Harden. Now, KD, Harden, and Kyrie, I'm not saying KD's got to win the whole thing this year. They're not favored to do that, but you got to get to the finals. Because KD, as a physical package and the skills that he's built up, as Kendrick Perkins will tell you, KD, compare him to anyone who's ever lived. He's almost 7 feet tall. Compare him to Magic, Bird, Michael, Kobe, LeBron, physically in terms of his skills, his shooting, and by the way, nowadays even his passing has gotten so much better. He became a great defender. KD is taking a back seat in those departments to no one, ever. He should be the best ever, right? But he's not. You know what KD hasn't shown he can do yet? Lead a group of guys to a championship who's not necessarily supposed to win, who just has a fighting chance. Didn't do it in OKC. Warriors, come on.